Welcome to the World United. Welcome to the World United.
Now come to our next speaker, LK Tommi. And I will, in a minute, I'll share her amazing story. So LK Tommi, and she's going to be talking about the language of connection. LK Tommi's passion is to transform the education experience in relation to developing well-being, resilience, and social and emotional development for young people. This has consequentially led her to tutor and mentor thousands of young people and families nationwide. Throughout LK Tommi's career, she has realized the importance of developing a proactive teaching method that engages young people in learning about their energy, emotion, and thinking links to every experience they have in life, so that when life's challenges do appear, young people know exactly how to navigate and understand the value of experience in their lives. So LK Tommi, the language of connection.
Thank you so much for the introduction. And my passion and purpose is to work with young children. So I do work with young children from 7 years of age and upwards because I'd love to teach them all about themselves. And Tommi actually stands for teacher of me, myself, and I, because I believe that we're all teachers of ourselves. My talk works really nicely with Maria's talk because it is all about that connection and connection back to self and understanding our messages. So I'm going to share a presentation with you as I want to take you through on a journey about what I share with young people. So because it is all about the language of connection. And I love connecting through being curious and inquisitive. And I get them to explore, what does it mean to be inquisitive you? Because once we understand ourselves, we totally understand the experiences that we have. But I'm teaching children from 7 years of age. So I'm taking them through a journey. Now, for some of us, me included, I actually started on this journey when I was in my 20s, in my 30s, rather than being from a younger age. I've been actually in the education field now and the psychology field for over 30 years. So I've had lots of opportunities to connect with young people and their families, which is really, really exciting. And I use language purposefully for them because what I do is I actually talk to the logical mind. Because if for young children's brains, things have to be logical and they have to be able to receive the information in the way that connects with them. So I do teach, and I teach purposefully with language, and I do teach energy. Energy is one of the first things that I do teach because we are all made up of energy. And for some young people, they're unaware of where their energy is in their body. So I teach 3 energy centers, which is high energy, centered energy, and low energy. And the key is for the energy to flow and to know where your energy is at any point in time. I also teach the purpose of energy because every energy center has a different purpose. And we need to know when we're ready for learning in classrooms that we're in centered energy. No point being in high energy when we're ready for learning. Likewise, when time to go to bed, there is no point in being in high energy when it's bedtime. We need to regulate that energy through our body to come down to low energy. And of course, emotions stands for energy plus motion within our body. So when we understand energy, we also understand emotions, which is really, really exciting because emotions is a really tricky topic to teach children. And they do that, and we do that through experiences. I also teach them all about their thinking. And for some young people, this is a new concept to them because they think that their thinking happens for them or to them. When they understand that they can actually create their own thoughts and that every thought is valuable, light bulb moments happen and they start monitoring their thoughts and go, actually, I don't want this thought. I want to have this thought. Oh, I can actually create my own thinking. So for young people, it's really exciting to take them through the journey of understanding their body and understanding their brain. As part of that, I like to use lots and lots of different visuals for them to be able to understand exactly what's happening. This is one I use with all of my families. It sits on their fridges at home, and I use it through the language of connection and conversation. When tricky life experiences happen for us, generally one of these elements or two of these elements are not connected for you. And even adults, families use this all the time, even for mum and dads. And the young kids say to mum and dad, Mum, I don't think you got enough sleep last night because of this, this, and this. Or Mum, I think you need to drink some more water now because I'm noticing this. So it's really empowering families to have a different way and have a different conversation, which is really the exciting part. But it's also bringing awareness of what our body and brain needs to be in a place where we can understand the experiences that we're having. So I teach that from 7 years of age. There's a whole pile more that goes with that, but it's really, really exciting to connect with young people and actually have these conversations. Because when we have these conversations, that's when they truly know and understand themselves. They understand how to be resilient, because we all are going to have tricky life experiences. We're meant to have different life experiences. It's knowing and how to understand what to do with those life experiences. This is as we continue the journey of deepening the connection to self. And I'm starting to work now from children about 10 years of age upwards. This is a concept that I teach them a lot, all about you. I teach them all about what their inner strengths are, and it's great to have that language of connection and deepening that connection to themselves in understanding their inner strengths. But I don't stop at inner strengths. I'd love to explore inner weaknesses as well, because there's a clear message in the inner strength, but there's also a clear message in the inner weaknesses. And it's about understanding them, accepting them. They're there, but how am I do I want to take it from a weakness to a strength? Some of them say, no, I'm actually totally happy with it as a weakness because they've done that acceptance process for them. And they can have a conversation around that. By this stage, they're looking at that interaction. They're moving through their lives between, now becoming a young person and moving into adulthood. So what does that interaction look like, sound like, and feel like for them? And how can they take it? Because for some people, that's a freezing point for them because they don't actually understand that next step for them to take. Understanding inner self and also understanding the inner child. I've worked with lots and lots of teenagers and they've come up to me and they said, oh, I think I've got schizophrenia, or I think I've got this, or I think I've got that. I go, how do you know? And they said, I've got this little voice in my head, because nobody's actually had the conversation with them. I said, that's okay. We all have that little inner voice in our head. We all also have an inner child. And when you actually open that up to conversations, you just see the light bulb moments go on and go, oh, okay, this is just my inner self talking to me. I go, yep, that's exactly what it is. And they get excited about that. And they want to continue that journey of really connecting and understanding themselves. And of course, looking at self-care for them. What does that look like, sound like, and feel like? Now, imagine understanding what self-care looks like for you at a younger age. Also looking at, being able to self-advocate. What does that look like, sound like, and feel like, particularly as they're moving into that adulthood now? What does self-advocacy really, really look like? And as you can see all around those larger circles, there's also, and the inner critic, I love visiting the inner critic because we've all got one, and it's an amazing place to visit because it's got its own amazing purpose. Every one of those circles, every one of those words on that page has a particular purpose. And when we actually explore that with young people, the one thing they're doing is deepening that connection back to themselves. So, and I love doing it through an education process, because when we actually understand the value of every experience that we have, because we have a gazillion experiences. And one thing I do with young people is I use mathematical formulas. So I get them to work out, okay, how many experiences do we actually have in a day? And it's actually amazing the numbers that actually come through with that. Then, okay, we're going to multiply that by 5, or actually by 7, because there's 7 days in a week. All of a sudden, the experiences have got larger. Then we're going to multiply it by a month, because I want to see them how the experiences actually increase, our numbers getting larger. We multiply that by years, and then we multiply it by how many years you've already had all of those experiences. And it's amazing because they quickly work out, oh, I've actually already had about 100,000 experiences in this lifetime. Some young people think their experiences happen to them. What I get them to see is actually how they can create their own life experiences. And when they actually get get to that point and you can see those light bulb moments go on, and they're actually understanding, actually, I can create the life experiences that I want. Now, imagine teaching that to your young child from 12 years of age. And I've done this for many thousands of young people now. And to see their lives move forward in a totally different way is really, really exciting, because what they've actually learned is the value of every experience that they've had, and every experience that they're going to have. So that's like creating our vision boards of our future. I get them to do it, but I get them to do it in a very different way, because we connect it with energy, we connect it with our emotions and our thinking when we're actually doing that creation process. So it's really, really exciting to see them then working out how they're actually manifesting these experiences in their lives. But everything has been explicitly taught to them. Another really exciting model that I just love to use, and I use this with families, I use it with young people, and I use it in my life continuously, so is the PACE model, which stands for playfulness, acceptance, curiosity, and engaging. So a young person might be having a moment in time, and I go up to them and I'm going to use a circuit breaker for them. I'm going to go into a playfulness mode. So, I spy with my little eye, and all of a sudden they start playing the game along with me. So they've actually had a circuit breaker now from the event that they were experiencing. They're coming into a different experience now with me, and we're going into that playfulness space, because I'm transitioning them from one experience to another experience. Then we're going to do acceptance. I really accept that that was really a tricky moment for you. And they go, yes. So I'm transitioning them further into that connection, that language of connection with me. Then I go through the curiosity. I'm just a bit curious what might have been occurring for you at that point in time, because I want them to have, if they can, have a conversation around the experience that they've just experienced. So we go into the language of curiosity, and all of a sudden the brain starts coming along with me, because they're going, yep, I'm curious too. I am a bit curious about what my behavior was a few minutes ago, or what experience I was having a few moments ago. Then we go into engaging, so I'm now connecting with them. I connect, tell me more, how can I help you? What do you think about? So we've actually gone through a process, and I've taken them from one experience to another experience. All of a sudden, they're looking at that past experience that they just had that could have been a tricky one for them, and they're actually viewing that experience now very, very differently. And this conversation style, once you use it a lot over time, you then do it very, very quickly. I can take you through this process in 5 minutes, and I've already moved you from one experience to another. But not only that, I've helped you to understand that experience as we've gone through the process. I do this in schools as well. So I have worked in lots of schools in lots of different ways, which is really exciting to be able to teach whole classrooms of children all of these topics as well. And I also train people up in using this model with working with children who have experienced lots of tricky life experiences, which is really exciting to be able to be in that place and sharing the language of connection with them, because I've just connected with you in a way that can move you from one experience to another. The other thing I'd love to teach them, and this is my mantra, this is what I do every day, this is what I live my life by, being calm, centered, and focused. Because when we're calm, we're centered. When we're centered, we're focused. When we're focused, we're creating those life experiences that we want to have. And I tell this story all the time, but it's just one of my favorite ones. So when I went to school, not showing my age here now, I wrote with slates, sat on long wooden benches and wrote it with ink. When my children went to school, they actually took pen and paper to school and they sat on individual desks. When my grandchildren went to school, they actually took an iPad and they have flexible learning environments. Now, I don't know what the next generation is going to take to school with them, but the one thing I'd love them to take to school and what they're going to need to create life experiences in the next generation is understanding themselves. So if I can teach them from young age, from 7 years of age, or just before they go to school, all about themselves, they actually know who they are. And I want them to take knowing them into their backpack of life on that first day of school. And I'm pretty sure their first day of school might look a little bit different to what my first day of school looked like all those years ago. And that's why I'm so passionate and love teaching young people, because, you know, their generation's going to be faster than ours. And I can't even predict what that generation is going to look like for them. All as I can see is life is getting faster pace for them. It's not going slower for them. So if we can get them having that language of connection to themselves, then we know that we've given them the best start that we can into their journey for their life and to their life experiences. What I also find as the next part of the natural progression for them is when they actually understand themselves, it's like a transitioning phase, and then they go further into spirituality. So I say that I'm also a transformational leader, taking them from one lifestyle into another lifestyle as well. And we can see that that has a flow and effect, and that they really connect to themselves, which is just totally amazing. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me on that bit of a journey. And I just love sharing it. So if you'd love to connect with me, you can connect with me on my website, thetommiconnection.com.au.
Thank you, LK Tommi. You know, this was so heartening that, you know, that this is the work you're making these kids aware of their energy at such a young age, because you know, so many of the people who come to us, they're talking about their childhood trauma that they have carried and they have lived the consequences. And it just speaks to all our hearts that they are getting ready and getting aware so early in life. And I'll chat with you more on this in the
that'd be great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
for enlightening us on this.